So first of all, hierarchical chart. What is hierarchical chart? Hierarchical charts are more like the organogram that are being utilized in the organization. Your organizational charts are basically uh, hierarchical charts. Then you have assignment matrix, a very important matrix. Who is responsible for what? Who is responsible for what? In this matrix, you basically put whose responsibility is to do that specific task. So we call that as responsibility assignment matrix, RAM.
Matrix. Okay.
Responsibility assignment matrix, RAM.
Matrix.
For example, project manager is responsible for this. He is responsible for this. So we write who is responsible. In addition to RAM, we have a more powerful matrix where not only we basically tell who is responsible, we tell who is accountable. Like should, who is the ultimate responsible, who is accountable to do that task, whom to consult if you need some information, whom to consult, and whom to inform this along the way. RACI matrix: responsible, accountable, consult, inform. Responsible, accountable, consult, inform. So responsible can be anyone. Okay. For example, let's say
Mm-hmm.
in this example, creating the charter is responsibility of Ben. Ben can be a team member, Ben can be anyone. But Anne is ultimately accountable. Most of the time, while
Mm-hmm.
working in the project environment, what happens? Project manager assign or delegate different tasks. So those person become accountable, but those person become responsible. Those person become responsible, but ultimately project manager is accountable.
Accountable.
Okay.
Yes.
And you may have to talk to consultant to understand those requirements, those things, stakeholders. You consult with them, and finally you inform the key stakeholders along the way. Responsible, accountable, consult, inform. Responsible, accountable, consult, inform. Okay. Then we move to the third type of data representation charts: text oriented format. Text oriented format is more like the notices that is generated in your organization, roles and
Yes. Yes, they
responsibility,
are.
roles
Yes.
and responsibility of the people. That is text oriented format. So these are basically data representation charts. Now let's move to the other specific tool: organization theories.
Yes.
Organization theories. There are so many theories in the organization. You have to understand them in order to manage the team, manage the resources along the way. One of the most important theories, Maslow hierarchy of need. Abraham Maslow gave that theory, and he says that unless your below needs are not satisfied, your lower needs are not satisfied, we will not even think about the higher needs. So he
Higher
made
need.
a pyramid of needs. The lower needs must be satisfied. Means if you cannot breathe, you will not think that where I'm going to live, how who is loving me. No, 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 no. First you need to breathe. You need to breathe. Once you are having air in your lungs, then you think about the water, then you think about the food, then once that is done, you think about the safety, then
Mm.
you have the safety, then you think about the love, self-esteem, self-actualization. So you move along this way. So self-actualization is the biggest need for which we people esteem. Maslow hierarchy of need. Then we have Hertzberg theory of motivation. It is also known as Hertzberg theory of 2 points. What does the Hertzberg says that? He basically says that there are some factors that are necessary in your job, like you must have a job security, you must have a good salary, workable condition, relationship along the way. If these things are not present in your job, you will get demotivated. You will get demotivated. But no matter how much more they are present, you will not get motivated to do the work. For example, if I say, Mr. Ahad, today your salary is 1 lakh, tomorrow I made your salary 3 lakh. Maybe for a day
Mm.
or two, you were motivated to do the work. After that,
It will be normal.
it
Yes.
will be normal. You will not be motivated to do the work. What motivates you? How much opportunity you have. What is the
Mm.
responsibility you have? How much you get appreciation along the way. Is your work is recognized at the job or not? How many additional
Ah.
opportunities you get? So we have hygiene factors. If they are not present, we get demotivated. But no matter how much they are present, we are not getting motivated. We get motivated by the opportunity, by the responsibility, appreciation, recognition, education. So we need to consider all these things. You see, we see many government servants, they are very demotivated. They are doing just their jobs. They're just meeting the ends. Why? In their jobs they have job security, they have
They
salary,
have
maybe have their,
salary.
they have good working condition relationship, but they are not given the opportunity to excel because government jobs
Mm,
are very slow. They basically don't have much responsibility, and if they do even some good work, they are not appreciated and recognized, and there are very less opportunity for education. So basically that's a great example of Hertzberg theory of motivating agent. Whereas if you consider people working in startups, people working in Facebook, they are given all these opportunities to learn more, earn more. They are getting recognized, so they are motivated. This is clear. Then the next theory is theory X and theory Y. It's a basic management theory. Like all other words, there are two type of management. Some believe that people don't like to do the work, so they need to be monitored all the time. They need to have a stick in their hand. You need a supervisor to see the people are working or not. That's why people put CCTV camera to monitor the work people are doing along the way. So that is theory X. Then we have theory Y. Theory believe Y believes that employers enjoy their physical work, their mental work. So let them work. They will do the work. There is also a theory Z. That Z says that give them a good environment, give them a good environment, give them a better environment. You will have their loyalty. But from exam point of view, you need to focus on theory X and theory Y. Then we have another
mm,
important theory, expectance theory. Okay, Mr. Ahad, if you believe by working hard you can get PMP, and by getting the PMP you can get a great job, you can get a great uh, maybe raise in the same job, you will work
yes.
hard because you will believe. If you don't believe that PMP is not going to do anything, you are not going to work hard. So this applies to everything in the world. If you are Muslim, you pray 5 times, you do fasting because you believe you will get Jannah. If you are Hindu, you go to Mandir and do all these things because you believe in karma. If you are Christian, along the way, all religions are based on this expectance theory. The complete commissioning purpose that you get the commission by doing the work is based on expectance theory. This is clear?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Then we get output as resource management plan. Now, very important theory, Tuckman team building theory. You also it as, you can see in basically exam as Tuckman ladder stages theory, team stages theory, many name. Once again, Tuckman theory, Tuckman ladder theory, Tuckman stages of team, or just stages of team. What happens? Basically, how people learn how the team is formed is based on this theory. This is very important theory, and this is applicable to all the teams. So in order to understand, let's go for the graph and see how this applies to us. Okay, you see, when a people come together initially people come together. If I make a graph of time and performance, initially they say, hello, how are you, how do you do. You never fight with the strangers. Initially, people are strangers. They're starting to know each other. They started working on their assignment. So you have forming along the way. People are, when they are forming, there is a good amount of performance. People are trying their best to show that we are good. Everyone is trying their best. So at the forming stage, you have good performance, and there is no conflict most of the time. Okay. So when the team moves along the way, after some time, when you get to know each other, you start fighting with each other. You start fighting. No, I know better. You don't know. I know. I have this much experience. I know my thing.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Then you basically your performance go down. You are in the storming stage. You are in the storming stage.
Storming.
People are fighting with each other. From forming to you have moved to the storming. Then things start getting normalized. People start learning about each other and start thinking about how things are going better, how they work. So they start accepting the facts. Even they don't like them still, but they start accepting the fact. So things are getting to normal. So this is all normalizing. Okay. Then along the way we start knowing habits of each other. We start knowing habits. We start knowing why they do this thing,
Mm-hmm.
how, in which environment they perform better. So in this stage, the team is in the peak stage. Everyone is doing awesome work, and we trust each other. We know how they work and how they move along the way. So this is called performing stage. So once the work is completed, people start going, people start living. There's a way of celebration. People are celebrating along the way. In addition to that, people are celebrating, but they're also sad. They are going. So that is adjourning state. That is adjourning state. People are leaving. The project is ending. So that is adjourning stage along the way. So this is clear.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
This is
Only the last one is was not so much clear after the
adjourning. Now
adjourning. Yes.
work is completing, so people are moving. So basically, teams move through all these phases: forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning. So this is basically
Uh,
also as ladder along the way. You see, if along the way any team member leave the team, the new team member comes. So again, the
yes.
team moves along this way. So this is not fixed. People go along the way. This thing, and it is not like a fixed rule that you it will take a month or 2 months to reach there. It is possible some team members reach there very fast to the performing stage. This is our ideal stage. Every project manager want to reach there as soon as possible, but it is possible some take time, some basically go there in urgent pace. Okay, clear. So
Okay. Okay.
let's see this Tuckman ladder we have. Okay, so forming, people are coming together. How are you? I'm good. How you are you not?
Yes. Then
Storming,
storming and norming.
then norming, then performing, then adjourning. So
Nice.
informing team trying to learn about each other and their task. High dependence on PM for guidance and direction. So here what happens? Here PM give direct directions. PM is directing the people. He is giving directions. Do this way because team is forming, na? So high requirement of PM. What is the role of project manager here? He is giving direct directions, and team follows those instruction direction. They don't use their mind much. They follow directions. So because roles and responsibilities are not clear, team is independent. They are working as an independent group. Everyone is performing their own best. So once everyone is performing their own best, we still get a good performance here. But when we move from forming to storming, team trying to work through their differences. People are yelling on each other. They say, I am the leader. There's a fight for the leadership that I should be the leader. Here, the PM need to coach them.
Coach them. Okay.
PM need to coach them. You have to resolve their conflict. See how you can solve the conflicts. Frustrations are there. You need to solve those frustrations. So when we move from forming to storming, then we go to norming. Now things are getting better. We set some ground rules. Okay, these are communication rules. These are meetings rules. These are rules we need to follow. So we have made some rules by which we have resolved some conflicts. Now here PM is start giving them work, start giving them a little autonomy, not complete autonomy, a little autonomy along the way. Team is developing and understanding their challenges, they are accepting other behavior, they're adjusting to their style. Then in performing, this is the peak stage, the ideal stage. Everyone knows each other's habit, how they're performing. Now complete task they are doing by themselves. This is very important for project manager here. He does not need to give instruction, does not need to coach the team or mentor the team. Here, he must delegate the task. Let the team member do their own work. Because once the team reach performing stage, you have to let them do their own task. Because when
Mm,
you let them to do their own task, then they can do the best work. So here team member help each other and they care about each other. Then in the adjourning phase, all the work is completed. The the PA, then a team is happy and sad in the same way because work is completed. We are happy. People are going now. Relationships are getting breakdown, so people do get emotions. Emotional intelligence is very important. You need to release the resource with emotional intelligence. PM use emotional intelligence to help team to move on. Tell them what are the future endeavors, things like that. Team feel sense of loss and deforms. Teams get demotivated. So when team get demotivated, but there is a chance the performance go down and team feel uncertain about this. So this is all
Oh,
about Tuckman team building theory. Conflict is natural in the teams. Conflict happens whenever the team occurs there. So whenever you are handling a team management, always understand how to handle the conflict. In order to understand the conflict, we consider two parties, party one and party two. And we are seeing from the perspective of the party one. Let's see it in the matrix form to understand it in a better stage. Here is party one, here is party two. In this area, party one win the argument, here the party one lose the argument or conflict. Here the party wins, party two wins the argument, here the party two lose the argument. In the first quadrant, the best scenario is this win-win situation. Both
yes,
parties win-win. In second, the first party lose, the second party win. In the fourth quadrant, the first party win, the second party lose. And in the third quadrant, both party lose. Remember, we are looking from the perspective of party one. We are party one, so we are looking from the perspective of party one. Okay,
okay,
whatever the situation is, we should always go for win-win situation. We should always try to do win-win situation. So what is the win-win
yes,
situation? You try to do problem solving. You basically come together, you try to solve the problem, you try to collaborate. So problem solving, collaboration basically comes here. Problem solving, collaboration, it comes in this area. Acha, very important thing. Sometime if you cannot do problem solving or you cannot do collaboration, even confronting also comes here. But it, I would say confronting comes below here, but still it is in the win-win region. If people have a problem, ask, even if they fight, ask them, sit together and now solve the problem. So problem solving, collaboration, confronting, all these techniques are win-win situation. All these techniques are win-win
win-win,
situation. And this is the best scenario. Being a project
yes,
manager, your goal should always be go towards win-win situation. Somehow you have to do win-win situation. Clear?
okay,
Okay. So then we come to second quadrant. Here you see you cannot win the argument. You cannot win the conflict. So you basically accommodate them. You accommodate. You
okay,
accommodate. Okay, I'll accept. Most of the time what happens when you're talking to the boss and you cannot win the argument, you accommodate it. You accommodate it. This
yes,
is a
yes,
never
it
good
happens,
situation.
yes,
So sometimes you force the decision. You force the decision. Do this way, do my way. Most of the time when you are a boss, you force someone. Both accommodation and forcing are never preferred decision. Problem solving, collaboration, and confronting is a preferred decision. Accommodation and forcing is never a good decision. Then we have lose lose. Now, this is the worst case. We avoid the situation, we run away from the conflict, or we withdraw. Both of these are lose lose situation, and both of these situation must be avoided, must be not done. We should always focus on win win. If we cannot do win win, then accommodate or forcing is preferred, but avoiding and withdraw is the worst situation. Okay, we also have a solution along the way that is called compromise. What happen in compromise?
okay,
You go two step back, I go two step back. You lose something, I lose something. Now compromise come in lose lose as well as win win. So if you have to choose between avoid and compromise, compromise is the preferred option. But if you have to choose between problem solving, collaborating, or compromise, you have to choose problem solving, collaborating. This is clear? Okay, one thing more I would like to add here. What are the causes of conflict? Most of the time, scare resource that you don't have the resource, it becomes the cause of conflict. The schedule priorities, they become the source of conflict. Then you have personal work style, that is also a cause of conflict. But number one, Reason of conflict is scare resource, then schedule priorities, and personal work style. How to solve this conflict is having a ground rules, develop our norms, have a better communication, and define the roles along the way. In this way, you can solve these issues. So this is a matrix we were discussing. Collaborating problem solving is a best solution, and competing or forcing is win lose. Accommodating is lose win. Compromise is like in between, and avoiding is lose lose situation.